folks, we're going to jump in and get started and get off the ground here for our number 4 session of In the Lab with Alchemy. If this is your first time joining, thank you for jumping in. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. That means you like our topics. And as always, we do a survey at the end, so don't hesitate to give some ideas and give us feedback because we always want to make these better. Anyway, we got a great topic today, and I'm excited. It's the first topic of AI this year so far. So I got two guys on the phone that are a lot smarter than me jumping into the topic, and we're gonna jump in today. And my name's Pete Downing, and I'm here with two great individuals in our space. Host these webinars once a month, and we got a great packed schedule throughout the year, so keep an eye on your email. But today I got Mr. Andy Curran on the phone. And Andy, give yourself an intro, and what do you do for Alchemy, and let's have a little fun. What's one way you use AI in your day to day?
That's a great question, Pete. Hey, Pete, thanks so much for the introduction. My name's Andy Quirin. I lead the data analytics and AI practice here for Alchemy. I've been a part of the overall data and AI space for going on 2 decades at this point. I come from a history of companies working like different companies like Snowflake and the data warehouse, data lake, data platform space, working at companies like Click on the BI data visualization, data science space, and also at the Sageti Capgemini on the consulting side. So happy to round out all those experiences and talk about what we're seeing with AI today. And I use AI all the time, every day in my work and personal life. It just makes everything so much faster, so much more efficient, from being able to go and summarize and answer emails to being able to look up recipes for what to cook for dinner. It's totally shaping the way that I think about my day every day.
Yeah, same here, same here. All right, and next up we got Aaron, and I'm probably gonna say your name wrong, but Trockman, and he's our partner manager from Glean. Give yourself an intro, Aaron, and where are you based, and how do you use AI in your day to day?
Thanks, Pete. Hey, everyone. Aaron Trockman. I lead channel partnerships and partner engineering here at Glean, or an enterprise AI company. I've been working in the AI space and security and cloud for several years, working at companies like Wiz and AWS. And so, really excited to be here with everyone today. I'm based in Denver, and I use AI as well all the time. I use Glean all day. One of the favorite things I have right now is I've been building out AI agents on Glean that actually allow me to create dummy data for all the different demos that I do with partners and customers. And that used to be a really cumbersome process of just like, spinning up different data and like spreadsheets and things like that. And now with Glean, I'm able to sort of describe the use cases that I need, and it spits out all of the data I could possibly need to build advanced use cases with.
Well, thank you guys for joining. I know you two are very busy, and it's an honor to have you guys on because I'm going to learn a lot today, and I'm excited. If you don't know who Alchemy Technology Group is, we are a national value-added reseller. And what does that mean? That means that we come in, we help you pick the right products. We have the talent to help you implement those products, and we build trust and become a strong advisor for you all. We have many partner awards, 32. We have alchemists all over the US, and we are growing fast and furious. If you have any questions on who we are, don't hesitate to ask. But these are our core disciplines. We cover everything from cyber all the way over to app development. And yes, we do have an app dev team. So if you're stuck trying to get something undone, whether it's an AI workflow to building a mobile app, we can do that too. And Andy kind of straddles both the AI section and the data analytics. He's probably one of the smartest guys I know when it comes to data. But today, we're going to focus on AI. The reality is with AI, you always kind of stumble in the data world. So don't think, just because we're talking AI, there's no data behind the scenes. I think, Andy, you would agree. So with that, as I go to this slide, I'll hand over to Mr. Andy Curran, and he's going to take us through kind of what he's seeing in his world. So thanks, Andy, for jumping in.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Pete, for the introduction here. Super excited to have Glean on today with us to go and show some of the great evolutions and some of the customer successes that we've had here at Alchemy. Pete, you're absolutely correct. We're seeing a lot of customer challenges across the overall AI space. Overall, the data within an organization isn't quite AI ready. There's too many disconnected tools. Of course, there's security and governance concerns, unclear business use cases. So people know that they want AI and they've got to check the box on AI, but they don't know exactly where to put it. And just overall lack of internal expertise. AI is such a new field and it's growing so rapidly. It's hard for anybody to keep the their finger on the pulse of it, let alone be able to have a good understanding of every vendor and all the use cases that it could possibly be answering. Just a quick rapid fire lightning AI state of the union, some of the things that we're seeing today based on some of the market leading research across AI. We're seeing 43% of executives want dedicated AI expertise on their boards. This is a big uptick from where it was this time 1 year ago. 62% of knowledge workers spend too much time in their day just searching and trying to manage information. So this is people spending cycles that they could be using for more value-added work deep in the weeds, trying to just find documents, just trying to find where they buried their last PDF or PowerPoint. 65% of organizations report that GenAI use is in at least one business function today. And this number should honestly be higher because people all over your organization are going to be using GenAI in one capability or not, and really getting your arms around making sure that they're using it in a secured and governed fashion rather than going and just grabbing whatever AI tool is out there and available to them. You really want to make sure that you have a good visibility into what tools are being used, both sanctioned and unsanctioned within your organization. 75% of global knowledge workers are already using GenAI at work, and those are both the tools that are the ones that are internal and blessed and secured and governed, and then all the other kind of wild, wild west set of tools as well. But then this big one is 92% of companies are increasing their AI spend every year for the next 3 years. So we're seeing much more traction on this each and every day. Every company wants to be an AI company, and they want to do it with a good and solid framework of setting themselves up for success. And that's really what we're trying to aim to accomplish today. Just a quick level set, we use the term AI all the time, and there's really been this fundamental shift between traditional AI and generative AI. And really the biggest difference here that I just want to highlight is with GenAI, these are all the new AI tools that are going and being able to create new and original output. So this is being able to generate text on the fly, generate content on the fly, be able to go and soak up all of not only the internet's worth of data or whatever it was trained on, but also the data that you hone it on and tune it on within your own organization. And for it to be able to couple all of that together and really provide meaningful new and original output based on whatever conversation that it's having with your users. So we've had this amazing shift to Gen AI, and it's growing each and every day. When we look at just the overall evolution of AI and just some of the big milestone markers on what's happening, the real takeaway from this is it's growing at an exponential rate. Back when we in the early 80s and 90s and into the 2000s, we had neural networks and machine learning, and those kind of building up, but the iterations on these machine learning algorithms were kind of in taking the better parts of a decade. They were taking several years to go and iterate on. But as we get further along in the timeline, now these AI tools are being iterated on, it seems like almost a daily basis at this point. There's the major foundational vendors in the marketplace are releasing new models all the time. They're competing. They're now becoming more hyper tuned to specific use cases and specific workflows. And we're seeing copilots pop up every tool. So it's not like it's just centric to there's one or two copilots in a year's time, in 18 months time. Many companies are going to be dealing with the issue of there's going to be a copilot in every single tool that they own, and how do they overall manage this wide breadth of AI popping up across all of these different systems within their organization. We're also seeing kind of this overall notion of some organizations are being mandated to become IT organizations, and they said, all right, well, we turned on Copilot, so we're now an AI company, and our AI strategy is done. But in reality, you've really just scratched the surface. This is just the top of the iceberg. Going and experimenting with one Copilot is one thing, but there's 90% plus other use cases that you need to be taking a look at and considering for your overall day-to-day business. From here, you break these down into a couple of big key areas. Enterprise knowledge search is a big one. We have so many different disparate knowledge sources across all of our organizations. So if you imagine you have your SharePoints, your OneDrives, your Google Drives, all of these file repositories that have decades worth of technical backup from all of your different PowerPoints and PDFs that have ever been created. How do you go through all of those and be able to get something meaningful? Process automation is another big one. A lot of us spend a lot of our days doing the same repetitive tasks each and every day. And how can we go in and leverage AI to make those experiences better, smoother, more accurate, more efficient each and every day. Better decision making and even forecasting. How can we leverage a tool to go in and take a look at all of our data from across all of our different disparate data silos, bring all that info together, and then give us a non-biased, prescriptive lens on what we should do next. So AI really is a unique way to go in and combine your own tribal knowledge from your own internal organization, and then be able to combine that with all of the different knowledge from a variety of different sources that no human would be able to go and consume, and then make recommendations. And by no means is this replacing the overall decision-making process within an organization, but it should be evolving it. So that if you have people that are going and trying to make strategic decisions, this should be able to boil up very, very quickly ideas from across your organization on different strategies to approach that you can go at an executive level and make decisions on. We're also seeing AI really step into the realms of DevOps and also security and governance. So with DevOps and code generation, having a medium to go in and be able to write code better, faster, and more efficient than you're doing today is only going to be making iterations on your product lifecycle faster and better and easier. And then risk and security and compliance is really at the heart of this as well. So we need a way to go in and make sure that as this data is being consumed and is being leveraged, that it's being done in an efficient way that is properly secured, properly governed. So only the right people are able to access the right data at the right times. So if we break this down, we're kind of seeing AI vendors being grouped into four kind of major pillars here today. And the first one that I'm seeing is what I like to call end user productivity. And the real goal here is to drive operational efficiency for the users. And this is the ability to go in and tap into all of these different data sources and be able to, one, ask questions against your knowledge base, but two, be able to also start to create agents to automate some of these easy to automate, low-hanging fruit manual workflows that people are doing day in and day out. And I'm excited. This is really where we're going to dive in here with Glean in a few minutes and show what the art of the possible is and going and driving this operational efficiency, not just for your technical users, but for your non-technical users as well. Being able to do what only a coder could have done 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but someone that's in the business and has that understanding and that tribal knowledge of your business, but doesn't have a deep coding skill set to go in and be able to create agents to do automation is extraordinarily powerful. And then we're seeing this also need for more bespoke custom AI solutions. So in the end user productivity, these are more out of the box tools that you can go and you can plug in across your organization. But then we're also seeing this need for custom AI solutions. So this is when people come and they really reflect on what is my core business. And if I could wave a magic wand and in 12 months, and I could have AI really fundamentally shape the way that my core business operates, what would that look like? So that often involves going and pulling together a custom solution across a variety of different systems, pulling in just the key data in order to shape that. So here at Alchemy, we've done a variety of different use cases. We've worked with top investment firms where being able to make key investment opportunities is at the heart of their business. So building a custom solution for that where it goes in and allows people to, in this financial space, to make and discover financial opportunities 2 to 3 times faster than they were doing before. And then for their decision-making committee to go and approve those decisions also 2 to 3 times faster than doing that before. We're also working with like major sporting teams who want to leverage AI in order to be more successful against the different teams that they're competing against. So doing things like making custom applications that go and review all of their team's footage, and then also reviews all of the footage for whatever competitive team that they're up against, and then compares them and makes strategic insights on which players to use and which strategies to implement in order to win on game day. So as you can imagine, these aren't really out of the box solutions, but these are their core business. And if they can lean in and invest to build a custom solution that wins them one more game or makes them one more successful investment opportunity than they did before, these solutions are going to pay for themselves in no time. Security and governance is also a key part of this landscape, going in and being able to do this with security and governance in mind. So we're seeing a wide breadth from the CISO organization One, wanting to have a key framework as they're evaluating different AI vendors to make sure that they meet all of the basic standards for what makes a good investment with an AI internally into their corporations, but also leveraging different vendors to go in and sit on top of their AI posture to be able to detect anomalies that are happening within their overall security infrastructure, make sure they have best AI practices in place to keep their own actual security up to date. And then on the software development side, these custom app dev applications, and also coming in and really putting in place the framework for best practices and this kind of new vibe coding atmosphere. So between CI, CD, QA, and testing, being able to go in and really give the app dev teams within organizations the tools they need to be so much faster with this backbone of AI in mind. So, I mentioned earlier that this kind of onset of this issue arising where we're seeing these agents and assistant agents and co-pilots popping up across all of these different systems within your organization. So we're seeing things like you have your co-pilots in your knowledge base. You've got tools like Workday and Salesforce and Oracle and Snowflake that all are going to have their own co-pilots, and there's going to be this fatigue and this having to wrangle and educate your own internal customers that if you have all of these systems and each of these systems have their own co-pilot, where do you go to really ask questions and get answers in order to maximize the responses and that overall quality of time? So we're seeing this notion of having a primary agent pop up where you're going to want to have a strategy in place where you have a one-stop shop location that's a jumping off point that instead of going and asking specific questions to each one of these individual agents, you really want to have a strategy in place where you have one primary agent that's going to be your jumping off point that goes and integrates across all of these different AI aspects within your organization so that when you're day one at your organization, you don't have to go and educate your customers on, hey, you need to go talk to the Salesforce Copilot to do this, and you need to go talk to your Snowflake Copilot to do that, and you need to go talk to your Microsoft Copilot to do that. If you have a tool like Glean, that can be your kind of overall jumping off point for all of these things and be your central AI hub across your organization. And before I hand it over here to Aaron to deep dive into the demo and exactly something like that would look like, we're just on the precipice. This is such an exciting time to be in this organization because we're really seeing all of these AI platforms evolve so rapidly, and not only to just being co-pilots, but also to some of these other use cases. So we're on really these first steps towards this agentic AI approach where these AIs aren't just going and being able to answer questions and be basic co-pilots, but also automating these repetitive manual workflows that you're having to do every day. So being able to plug into a tool that can go and easily set that up, having this orchestration where it goes and it's a single tying off point between all of these AI tools and bringing them all into one. And then this is ultimately leading into this notion of digital workers as a way to augment all of the human roles within your organization to go and be able to operate with a sense of agency and independence to go and accomplish tasks that you set out for them. So with that being said, Aaron, I'll hand the reins over to you to jump into the Glean side.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this. So, really, excited to be here with everyone today. And thank you, Andy and Pete, and the entire Alchemy team for having us. Glean is an enterprise AI platform. And for those that, want to hear more about Glean later, please let your team at Alchemy know. Glean sells exclusively through partners like Alchemy. We're really excited to be here with this team. So just to go ahead and jump in, we are an enterprise AI platform. So for organizations that want to adopt AI, we help them solve that need. And we know why organizations typically want to adopt AI. It's typically sort of the same three reasons. We see organizations trying to drive productivity gains, trying to drive efficiency, and trying to drive some sort of cost savings inside of their organization. And today, organizations are looking at AI and saying, how do I equip the people and the roles inside of my organization to leverage AI? And to that question, a lot of organizations are really seeing two options. You can either buy AI capabilities for your existing enterprise apps, or you can try to build your own capabilities in-house. Virtually every enterprise application now offers some sort of an add-on AI solution, whether that is Copilot for your Microsoft apps, Gemini for Google, Notion, Gong, Jira, right? Salesforce, they all offer an add on AI solution where, for a varying amount of money, I can turn on some sort of AI capability for the data that resides in that application. Or organizations look at building their own capabilities in house. They're going out and getting their hardware, cloud, and GPUs. They're getting an AI key. And then they're saying, what do I want to build? Do I want to fine tune a model? How much is that going to cost? Do I have the right teams, resources, and talent to do that? Do I need to build a vectorized search database? How do I scale that? And now, regardless of which approach customers are taking, we see them end up asking the same questions you might be asking about your own enterprise today. Like, do I really have a unified AI strategy? Was turning on some add-on AI solutions, maybe from Gong, Notion, as well as Copilot, a holistic strategy? No, probably not. Is my data secure? Is it compliant? Is it governed properly? Can I scale something I built in-house? And most importantly, are we really achieving our enterprise AI transformation goals? And time again, we hear from our customers sort of a resounding no that they're not, because typically they're trying a haphazard approach to AI, where they're turning on different pieces of AI. Or to Andy's point earlier, there's shadow AI. People are using AI tools that are unsanctioned by the company, that don't have the right privacy and permission policies in place. And all of that's really a risk. Now, fortunately, at Glean, we actually have a whole different perspective around how to drive AI transformation. At Glean, we believe AI transformation is rooted in AI adoption. In order for an enterprise to effectively transform with AI, they really need to be able to adopt AI across all of their people, all of their data, and all of their apps. And they must be able to do it in a way that is highly secure, that's updated in real time, and that their organization can trust as well. This is actually really hard to do. As you probably have seen, a lot of the AI solutions out there today are point solutions that fit for one application. Or for $15 a month, I can turn on AI for the data in that app. But we need a solution that works for the entire organization. Now, fortunately, that's what Glean does. Glean is an enterprise AI platform that connects to all of your people and all of your data in all of your apps. And what Glean does is we actually just ingest all of your data. And we do that in a way that is super secure. But at the highest level, we're connected to everywhere that knowledge lives inside of your organization. Applications like email, Teams, Slack, Jira, Confluence, GitHub, GitLab, Workday, Monday.com, Asana, right? HubSpot. And we're actually pulling in all of your data. And as we pull in all of your data, Glean runs machine learning against your data that allows Glean to deeply understand all of the knowledge inside of your enterprise. Not just what does every document say and mean, but things like who created that document? When was it last updated? How popular is that document? What inbound and outbound links are there for every document? And more. In fact, we look at over 60 signals for every document. And because we've done that, Glean is actually building a knowledge graph that deeply understands all of the data inside of your enterprise. And because we have a knowledge graph, you now have the ability to do what we consider to be a foundational enterprise AI capability, enterprise search. From Glean, you will have the ability to search across all of your data instantly across all of your applications. And very importantly, you're doing it in a way that is hyper secure. When Glean ingests data into Glean, we're not just pulling in the documents, we're pulling in other data like the people data surrounding it, the activity data, and very importantly, the permission data. Glean respects the underlying permissions in your applications. When you search in Glean, when you use AI agents in Glean, they are all leveraging your documents based on the permission you have in the underlying applications. In addition, Glean's updated in near real time as new documents are added or updated, and organizations trust the answers that they're getting because it's all grounded in their own data. And then we take it a step further. Because Glean knows where all of your documents are, what they say, what they mean, where they live, we can now build out advanced AI capabilities on all of your data at once, leveraging the Glean Assistant to have a natural chat-like experience on all of your data, or the ability to build out Glean agents that allow us to orchestrate and build automations around data that may live across multiple different applications at once without needing to buy any of those add-on AI solutions like Copilot or Agentforce or anything like that. In addition, for the most advanced organizations, you can also break the entire platform apart with our APIs. to take advantage of different capabilities. This is actually how one of our largest customers, NVIDIA, sort of king of AI, is using Glean internally. They've taken our platform and broken it apart to actually power some of their own homegrown capabilities. What Glean is we are a platform that connects to everything in your corporate ecosystem to bring in these advanced AI capabilities. What we are not is a large language model. Glean does not own a large language model. We do not build a large language model. We do not train large language models. Instead, we leverage the best in class large language model frontier models on the market today. That gives our customers the ability to use whatever LLM they want, but also to pick and choose LLMs for different use cases or for different agents. Glean is a platform that really works for everyone in the enterprise. And I'll show a demo here in a minute that shows how anyone can use Glean to search, to interact with their data, and then to build out advanced AI capabilities that drive productivity, that drive efficiency, and can even drive cost savings inside of their organization. We're a leader in the space. It's not just me saying it. Gartner has recognized us as a leader in the space as well. And not to kill y'all with slides, let's go ahead and jump into a demo. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop those into chat. What I'm going to show here today is how Glean is essentially a platform that is everything that your company knows. And I'll walk through how we can search across all of our data, how we can interact in a natural language with all of our data at once, and how we have the ability to actually empower our organization with advanced AI agents powered by Glean. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. And first thing that I want to show here is when I open up a new tab, this is actually going to automatically open up Glean. I'm really at a website, app.glean.com here. And from here, I have a Google search-like experience to search across all of the data inside of Glean that I have access to right now. So when I go here and I do search, I'm just going to search for, Glean security features. And when I do this, it's actually going to find what it believes to be is the most relevant data for me based on who I am in the organization and what my role is and what my team interacts with. You'll see that Glean actually found 253,000 results. It found documents across Salesforce, our website, Greenhouse, Gong, Jira, Confluence, Asana, right, and more. I also found people that are experts on Glean security and a number of other platforms here. Now, from here, it's finding what it believes to be is the most relevant data for me, and that's what comes up first. Just like when you search in Google, it knows who you are. It's finding what it believes to be the most relevant data. In addition, I have the ability from any document to actually quickly go in here and summarize that document. This works really well on calls because I don't necessarily want to go in and watch a whole recording or even read the whole summary. I can do it directly. I don't want to do it out of Teams or Gong. I can just do it right out of here. I can ask follow-up questions all instantly, all respecting my underlying permissions. So what's really great is, typically I know where there's in a document I'm looking for, kind of. I may know it was in an email, or I know it was in Slack, or I know it was in Google Drive, and I want to quickly filter to what I'm looking for. So I can click on Google Drive and it's just filtering to Google Drive documents. Maybe I know I'm looking for a presentation. Great. I can quickly keep scoping down to what is the right presentation that I'm looking for. I can add in, who was involved in that and more to continue scoping down. This is really powerful from just a search perspective to be able to find documents and resources very quickly inside of my organization. However, this is not really how I use Glean. I use Glean like it's a person. It's the smartest person who's worked at Glean since the very first day, who knows everything, and who really doesn't complain. And what I do is I just ask it questions like it's an expert, like it knows everything. So on that same thread, maybe I wanted it to explain how Glean handles security. So I can just ask it, how does Glean handle, and I'm going to have typos, it'll work with me still. How does Glean handle security? Provide specific examples. All right. So not a super easy question, right? I'm asking it to find data related to security. I'm asking it to create a tabular view of it. And what Glean is actually doing here automatically is it went out and searched company knowledge. It found 6 documents inside of the organization that were very relevant to this question. And it actually took this data and sent it to a large language model and said, based on this data, how would you answer the question? And each question, or each answer, we're citing where it found this information from. information that actually lives across multiple different documents. And in this way, I'm able to actually build out robust answers to really any question I have. When new folks on my team join Glean, I literally tell them, do not ask me questions. Ask everything to Glean. If you really cannot figure out the answer, come to me and I'll answer it. But Glean knows more than me, so it's going to actually usually provide a better answer. It has access to all of our internal documentation and resources. So this actually helps really anyone in any role, whether you're in engineering, sales, HR, IT, operations, be able to do their job more efficiently and more effectively. You can do things like asking the status of a deal. You can ask if you're a developer and you get an error that comes up while you're coding. Hey, what's the status of this? What other engineers have experienced this issue? And this is actually really powerful for roles like a contact center organization, where you are answering calls in a contact center and you need to get answers more quickly. T-Mobile is one of our largest customers. They're shaving about 17 seconds off per call by giving Glean to their employees because they're able to access information faster. So what I've shown here is Glean is all of your company's knowledge in one platform that is searchable, that is interactive. And lastly, I want to show you the ability to use agents. Agents are a construct, a way for us to automate work for an organization. And first, I want to show you a really simple agent, and I'm going to show more advanced agents actually integrated where people are working. So the first agent that I want to show is something that's really simple. And I'm going to show you a agent that we use when we're answering RFPs related to security. And if you think about Glean, Glean is all of your company's knowledge. Well, in many cases, I actually want to not use all of my company's knowledge because I want to answer a very specific question related to security. And there may be incorrect security information out there. Sam and myself on my team may have been talking about encryption, and we're not experts. So we actually don't want to use that knowledge. So when we're using a security RFP agent, we're actually going to define a really simple agent, an agent that uses a chat message to start, which I'll show you here. So it's a chat message to start. And then I actually am defining where that knowledge for this agent lives. And inside of Glean, we have things like our updated security documentation. This is a folder in Google Drive that's regularly updated with new documents and resources. So as those documents are updated, it's going to automatically be reflected inside of Glean. I have things like our SOC 2, our access control policies. I also have a Slack thread with new messages being updated on a near daily basis. So this agent is smart. It understands all of the knowledge I've defined, but actually continues to learn. It continues to have more information as new knowledge is created by our CISO team, as new knowledge is updated and added to our different folders. Now, what I can do here is I can ask a question like, how does Glean handle DDoS, security, distributed denial of service? And what it's going to do is it's not going to look at my Slack messages. It's not going to look at Sam's Slack messages. It's not going to look at things in my team folder. Instead, it's only looking at the documents inside of here to be able to answer this question around how Glean handles DDoS. So this is actually really powerful, and you can build out advanced, really simple agents or advanced agents for really specific use cases. So when we're answering security RFPs, we're just firing through it, copying and pasting. We actually have a more advanced agent where you can actually upload a PDF or Excel or whatever. It'll isolate all the questions, run them through this, and then save it into that sheet. But for a purpose of demo, just showing really a basic capability here. Now I want to show you a more advanced agent. And I know I talked a little bit about how Glean can be used in a contact center. And that's actually one of our top use cases. We have many customers using Glean in their contact centers to save time, to operate more efficiently. So I can go over here and I can think about using Glean where, let me just flip back in. All right, so I have an agent here, right? And I can ask it maybe, sorry, let's do. All right, so say I work in a contact center and my company has bought Glean. They could give me Glean, but now I have to context switch into Glean. Right now I have to remember, I got to go use Glean and search for something. And yeah, I can probably find answers faster if I search for them in this agent here. But this is not a best practice. This is actually, I want to show you how we help customers empower everyone inside of the organization. So what I actually want to show you here real fast is just a quick demo environment that we have here. And imagine this is a contact center tool. This could be Genesis or Five9s or Dialpad, connect whatever platform you want. Wherever your team is taking calls or handling text based communications with your customers, and as they get questions, I don't even want them to think about Glean. Instead, I just want to have an AI agent that meets them where they're working and is able to answer their questions faster. So I can ask questions like, how do we update? And it's going to go out and actually, be able to answer that for me very, very quickly. You know, so as an agent, whether I'm in a contact center or an IT help desk, able to answer questions a lot faster. But I can also do things like maybe I just want to copy the entire transcript here, paste it in, and it's going to answer questions for me very quickly. Now, as a contact center employee, I may not even know this is Glean. So if you're looking at how do I optimize my contact center, I don't necessarily want to teach them new tools, but I just want to give them a natural chat-based experience that many of us are already very used to, that is able to empower them, to make them more efficient, to make them more productive, and to even drive, real cost savings in an organization. Second thing I want to show is that these agents aren't just here to find information for us. We can also build agents that actually interact with our systems, our tools, our processes. So what I'll just do is a quick demo here of sort of a knowledge portal. So, this could be a HR portal or, knowledge portal, whatever.
So as you're going into this, I think this question may align to what you're showing. It's like, hey, what if we have an existing UI, internet portal, some, agent? I think that's what you're showing, right? How you tie in
100%.
existing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Glean's a platform that meets you where you're working, right? So you can get Glean, you can set up all these things. Alchemy can help with all of it. And then it doesn't need to be a life-changing thing where I've got to go work out of Glean and do everything out of Glean. It'll meet you where you're working. Many of our customers still live and breathe out of SharePoint. Their search actually uses Glean now. They have AI agents built into SharePoint. We're not here to change how companies are working, but to enable them with this best in class agentic AI capabilities. So here it's just like this could be SharePoint, just as an example, if I had really customized it. But I have this ability to actually ask an agent here. So like maybe I want to take time off, right? I can actually just ask it here, like help me take time off. And what it's going to do is that it's going to recognize that, hey, this is the time off requests. And there's actually a branch on the back end on this agent. All right, so I just did a quick one. So submit a time off request. So it's going to ask me some information. So I want to say I want to start it tomorrow and I want to till next Tuesday. All right. So I entered this and Glean's going to actually now turn this into dates. So it's going to verify with me what dates I want to actually take off. So I've requested Thursday to Tuesday, and it's actually going to suggest an action for me. And an action is a way for Glean to actually interact with other applications. So if you have an application that has any sort of like open API spec, Glean can interact with it. So I'm going to actually just go ahead and fill this out and just do, webinar, Alchemy Tech Group, and we're just going to go ahead and submit this. And then what happens here is this action is actually completed. So we've actually now triggered something in an underlying system. So we just have a quick backend database here on this. If I actually just refresh this, I should see Alchemy, webinar ATG, right? And then here's the request. So we have a lot of customers that are actually using Glean to empower their different teams to interact with their different systems, to create tickets in ServiceNow, to create tickets in Jira, to create tickets in whatever ERP or whatever backend system, to interact with a wide variety of systems. One key use case we're working with is franchises, where franchises have these like franchisee portals, and they want to, update those systems. Well, instead of updating everything, they actually just put Glean in front of it, and Glean is then able to build out these advanced AI capabilities, a natural chat-like experience grounded in all of their own data to interact with their different systems. And this agent that I actually just showed on the back end, it's actually pretty simple to build, and you build it in natural language. And what we're doing is we're actually kind of describing these different paths of things that it
So,
needs to do, of actions it needs to take.
Aaron, that's really cool. So you said you're building this in natural language. So on this HR portal, would somebody from HR be the one to actually go and code out this path?
Yeah, actually, really anyone can build this. It does require, a little bit of prompt engineering experience, and I think that's really a great part about working with Glean and Alchemy together is we have opportunities to provide sort of that best in breed experience from both Glean as well as their data and engineering background to help say what's the best way to build this out, what's the most efficient way to do it, and it's something that really anyone can build, own, and maintain long term. Glean it's a really simple platform in that you buy Glean, it takes only about 2 weeks to set up, and most of that time it's about 2 hours or so of actually connecting all of your applications, 2 weeks or so to index everything, and then you're off and running with the ability to search, the ability to chat or use our assistant capabilities, and then the ability to start diving in and build out advanced AI agents that empower your work, make you more efficient, more productive, and hopefully can drive real cost savings for your organization.
All right, so we're going to come to a close on our session today, and I got two call to actions that I'd like you guys to consider. And the first one is, Andy and his team has a really great strategy session you can do around AI, and we call these masterminds, and they're complimentary. It's a great way to interact with Alchemy, get a feel for how we work, and get some great information on where to start with AI. And then behind the scenes, there's a lot of other great mastermind sessions. If you go to alchemytechgroup.com and go to our services tab, you can see all the workshops, assessments, and masterminds we do. So definitely check this one out. And then next, if you want to get a deeper demo and have it be more in line with use cases in your workplace, et cetera, if you go to this QR code, and I also put the link in the chat, you can set up a deeper demo with us, and we can get that set up, understand your use cases, and dig deeper with Glean. So those are the two call to actions today. And yes, I'll follow up with those in a simple email post session. And yes, you'll get a copy of the recording. So that question came up as well. And also in the end of July, so on the 30th of July, we'll be bringing our friends CyberArk on and talking through privilege access, AI, and how AI is kind of upending the whole notion of security, and how CyberArk is embracing and trying to use AI to help streamline identity and security at the endpoint. So definitely check out our next session next month. All right, folks. Well, hey, thank you for taking time today out of your busy schedules to join us. I personally was excited about this topic because it's the first time we kind of breached the AI topic this year. And it's always fun being on with Andy, and great demo, Aaron. So, gentlemen, Andy, any last thoughts you want to leave the audience with today?
Pete, thanks so much for hosting today. A big proponent of doing those mastermind workshops specifically around the Gen AI space. We have a lot of customers that are out there today that are really trying to understand what that first step is for them. And these AI mastermind workshops are a great chance to come in and really whiteboard what are your biggest initiatives, goals, pain points, what are going to be your needle movers for the business. And by going in and taking that time to take a step back and be strategic, we've had some really great outcomes for customers going in and really showing where these AI tools can make a big impact for their business. So excited to spend some more time with you guys. Really recommend doing that as a next step.
Awesome. And then, Aaron, any final thoughts you want to leave our audience with today?
Nothing too much, but thank you so much to the Alchemy team for having us out on this today. We're really excited about the partnership and the opportunity to bring enterprise AI capabilities to more customers.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you, gentlemen. And behind the scenes, thank you, Sam, for jumping in today and taking time out of your busy schedules. I know you guys are probably slammed, but this is a great way to get information out to a lot of folks, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it. And with that, I'm going to say I hope to see you guys next month. And as I always say, have a great day, and see everybody on the flip side.